What is happening, everybody? I hope you've had a good...
back in like 2005, something like that.
I think my first con was so good. It's Friday Junior.
It's Friday Junior, it's podcast day, it's payday.
And if you come out doing a like, doesn't matter how you feel about the situation.
My name is Raff, and always before we start the podcast, because we just want to talk about it. We want to talk about music and just share those stories and experience. This is my co-host, Carl, aka the BeerBuddy. He is hailing you.
This sort of weird era where they're sort of right in that post-grunge.
Look, you're fighting the good fight in today's world. My war was fought 40 years ago, really.
We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here. Hey, I'm too quick on that air horn button, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, that is amazing. I love it. Your second of it, dude. Fantastic.
How you doing, you absolute legends? I am the Reverend Raff. This here is the BeerBuddy Kyle. We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here today with another podcast episode for you. But before we dive into that, if you have fun with us today, if you enjoy what we do, it'd be really appreciated if you could hit that subscribe button down there, give us a follow on YouTube, makes the YouTube algorithm happy, spreads our stuff to more people, helps you keep on top of the videos we've got coming out. That'd be great. We have podcast episodes every Thursday, as well as ancillary content on Saturdays and Sundays in the form of Get in the Bin and the Quick Question Quarter. And we have reaction videos coming out every Monday and Friday, sometimes on Wednesdays if there's lots of stuff coming. And Tuesdays is kind of a free day. You know, we don't always post something, but if we have extra things coming out, a lot of the time Tuesdays is when that's going to happen, as with the recent Flesh God Apocalypse interview. And if you haven't checked that one out, by the way, go back and check it out. It's pretty cool. Francesco's a great guy.
He's really a gentleman.
So we are continuing our coverage of Metal to the Max, which is a heavy metal festival taking place at the Mad Max 2 compound out near Broken Hill in the back end of New South Wales. It is a 2-night, well, technically 3 nights, because you can get out there on a Friday night and set yourself up, but it is 2 full days of metal bands, 30 bands across 2 days, 3 nights of camping, and it is going to be a hell of a time. It is taking place on the 5th and 6th of October. We're going to have links down in the description. Make sure you go and get your tickets. They are moving fast. I think one allocation has already sold out. And we will be out there as well, providing full coverage of the event. So you get to say hi to us in person if you care, or if you think we don't know anything of what we're talking about, you can come and debate that with us. We're more than happy to have a chat.
There's your opportunity to say it to our face.
And maybe we can bond over a couple of drinks and realize that at the end of the day, we're not so different. We're all just fans of music and just trying to have a good time. But we have for you guys today one of the bands playing at Metal to the Max. They are a Melbourne band. They are quite old school, very power metal focused kind of stuff. Big riffs, really big sort of grandiose things. And it's a husband and wife team, baby.
It is.
So we're going to get into this one. We have Kel and Harry from MaxxaM. That is MaxxaM. And we're going to dive into that one right now. Thank you very much for joining us today. We've got Kel and Harry from Melbourne band MaxxaM. Thank you for taking the time this afternoon to speak with us. We very much appreciate that. So for those who aren't familiar with MaxxaM, what's the elevator pitch?
What's the elevator pitch? A 5-piece metal band from Melbourne. Sorry, we live in Melton.
Mostly from Melton.
Yeah, mostly from Melton. Most members are. I guess we're 80s style heavy / power metal, being that most of the members are ancient and from the 80s. So
You're all friends from primary school. They've been like friends for like 40 years. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I'm a ring-in and the drummers are ring-in. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool, though, to be with your mates for so long and then being able to make music together and all of that.
Yeah, it's Saundy's our other guitarist I've known since grade 2 in primary school. He's also known the bassist Woody since around that time. I didn't meet Woody till high school, year 7 in high school. But the three of us have been in different bands along the journey. We've never actually played together. So when the opportunity for this came up, we thought, it's probably about time we did something. We're looking for a singer, and non-metalhead over here.
Total non-metalhead.
Yeah. The look on her face when we asked her was priceless. But she took to it like a duck to water. Gave her the reins to the lyrics for our first song, and that was it. She was sold after that.
Yeah.
Now metalhead?
No, I can't say. You know what? I can't say. I've influenced my kids in the realm of musical theatre more than anything. But I was, I guess, there's a rock star inside me that has just been unleashed, type of thing. I was trained by nuns, Sister Mari, in the middle of South Wales, true story, bro.
Wow.
I was a very good Catholic girl. I did some jazz stuff in like the late 90s in Sydney, but it didn't really resonate with me. And then I met Harry, and he always had a guitar in his hand.
Wow.
And then, and then they asked me if I wanted to do it. And at first I said no. I was like, do you know what? No, no. But, better than buying a sports car, I guess, in our midlife crisis.
Some buy cars, some start rock bands and get really fucking good at it.
Yeah, and it's turned out to be a really cool journey. Even we've had to sort of fight through COVID as well. Like we started just before COVID, so when COVID came along, I guess it helped us form the songs and pull some of the cool stuff together. But yeah, the first song got me. We wrote it out the front of a Hungry Jack's while a kid was at a birthday party, and I was rather angry at the time. I was extremely angry at the time, actually. There's one person that knows who that song's about. She's my ex-manager from corporate world. There's one person that knows that song and knows exactly who that person is, and she finds it highly amusing every time.
Oh,
so
that's amazing.
I am war, so yeah.
Well, you got to find influence wherever you can, right? I mean, I've got songs that not songs that I've released, but I've got songs written for different projects that are, about people that I had not great relationships with at the time, and we've since reconciled but the songs are still great songs. So you kind of, you can't let a good song go. I'm not saying you've reconciled.
No, I never reconciled. We just find it hilarious that she knows.
Hey, so sometimes these things happen, but
I think they may have let me drink.
With saying that you covered that sort of put your kids through like a musical theatre sort of side of things, is it the theatrics and stuff that come along with it that drew you to it and sort of maybe made you take like a duck to water to the whole thing and having that theatre background?
Yeah, totally.
It's
totally.
It's interesting because when we did, the first gig, Kel realised that the band is just a backing track to the Kel show. She really does put on that theatre. You know what I mean? It really is her show. That side of her come out.
That's all about what live performance is. It's live performance is, and it's heavy metal's always had a very larger than life theatrical element about it. That is, similar thing in a way with band that I was in for a while, Acid Nymph. We, before I actually joined the band, they had, they had a female singer, and then they played a few shows. She abruptly left, and the guitarist's sister, who wasn't really a metalhead but was an extremely talented singer, they said to her, "Hey, do you want to jump in, for a few shows?" And she just ended up vibing with it and really enjoying it, and went on for a few years doing that with the band. And it's sometimes you don't necessarily think that it's going to be a great fit right away, or it's not something a world that you're used to, but that can help sometimes make the band what it is. You're bringing an element that is a bit different from what people might expect, and it's an element of uniqueness that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, well, it does do that. It's
totally.
particularly with the songwriting, because how I hear it in my head is metal. I hear Cookie Monster vocals and that sort of thing.
I do Cookie
so
Monster.
to me, that the lyrics fit. Yeah, but then I take it to Cal, and she just looks at me strange, and we've got the piano sitting behind us. She'll sit there on that and slow it right down and make it all sound all la-di-da theatrical. And which makes my skin crawl, but it does bring that other element to it. When it all comes together, it comes together well.
Yeah, it was really hilarious. I was putting together one song. It was a fight.
Yeah.
And I went, dun, 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 and he looked at me like, it's not a friggin' love song. And I'm like, it's okay, like, calm down. I'm just working out the melodies. And he was like, no, it's not a ballad. We're not making a ballad. And then he freaked out the first time I did that. It was hilarious. We're just passing it up and had some drums and
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, it seems like that you guys kind of, in some ways, you're maybe not coming from two different like angles at it, but you're like filtering it through your own different experiences, which allows for unique takes on the same piece of material that again, sometimes that helps to create something that's a little different from whatever other people are doing in the space, and it's like I had to listen to the songs that you guys have got up there, and like there's plenty to enjoy there. It's a nice vibe for sure. You can tell that there's like as someone that's got an interest in like so many different styles of music, you can hear the outside influences in it, and I think it's great. Like, it's a nice, unique version of, the kind of that, as you say, that like classic, power metal type thing. You can hear influences in the music stemming from, from sort of like Rainbow and Dio era Sabbath in there in places, and as well as almost
Those
some of the more bands
solos.
like some of like a Man of War type influence in some places as well, and it's really enjoyable. And I mean, I think we talk about the theatrics of it. That's like a great transition into, obviously, you guys are a part of this Metal to the Max show that's coming up in October, and we've had a couple of different, we have talked to a bunch of different bands now, and it seems like there's a really good spread across the metal genre that's going to be featured here. And I think, you guys are going to be a great fit for it. Like, you guys are going to be really, bringing a vibe that will suit to the environment and the space. And while a post-apocalyptic, wasteland of cars and stuff isn't necessarily maybe the first thing people think of with power metal, I think it'll work in the sense of, like I mentioned Man of War earlier. Like, Man of War is this like, it's like this like fantasy battleground type stuff, but then you go, okay, well, if post-apocalypse, modern technology and modern society crumbles, what are we going to revert to? It's going to be, battles on the fucking battleground with swords and bucklers and armor made out of whatever scraps you can find. And like, if that's not power metal, I don't know what is, right?
The Valkyries will arrive.
Exactly.
Oh, dude,
exactly.
It's going to be awesome.
That's what you
Swords
need.
and shields begin to clash.
you need
all that.
You need some kind of like Wasteland Valkyrie type outfit for this show. I would think that
I can imagine the wheels are ticking 100%. You know what? I reckon we should lead into, Raff. We should lead into because there's such a diverse range of metal. We should really try and sort of do like all the different types of metal coming to the wasteland to have a great time together.
The different tribes of the apocalypse coming together,
all the different
right?
tribes of the apocalypse coming to the Mecca to enjoy one night of
Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
One thing I'm interested is, what are you guys really hoping to sort of see from this? I mean, especially having like one non-metalhead that's sort of in there. What are you most interested to see from the other bands? And then are you just really like off chops just to get in there and just see 2 days of just crushing bands?
Pretty much that's it, yeah. I mean, as soon as we heard about it, it was, I guess everyone would be the same. It's like fuck yeah, we're going to be part of that. Yeah, we just need to rename it to Metal to the MaxxaM, and we'll be good. But
hey, you can claim your set. When your set comes
That's
up,
it.
you can claim it. You can claim it.
Yeah,
That's the hashtag, right?
yeah. But I mean, this is just going to be insane. It's just something you got to be part of. And what an honour it is to be part of what is hopefully the inaugural, because I mean, this thing's going to go off, and if it doesn't become annual, at least biannual, it's got to be. Just all of this, all of these, the caliber of these bands in that setting, it's just going to be insane.
I think
I really want to feel the
gonna
vibe around it all, right? Being not in that before, so I'm going to get a good smack to the face. I'm afraid of the flies, but other than that, I'm because my mouth is like most of the time when I'm singing, so I'm a bit worried about flies. But other than that, I'm really excited to get into the culture of it and feel the culture of the scene itself and what happens when you do put all those awesome bands into a cauldron.
You're going to get some mad soup.
It's still what's this all about? There's a level of real.
It's going to be a hell of a
sweaty,
time.
soupy, and awesome music soup.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, right, given the excitement of all the bands that we've talked to so far, I think that with an event like this, obviously with a festival, you generally don't want to repeat bands, right? You want to try and not have the same bands playing it year after year. So I have to think that if it does become a regular thing, that there'll be, obviously the next lineup will be entirely different bands, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the bands that attend this year, the members of those bands are going to want to come back for the next one, because they're going to know what a great time it is. They're going to know how much fun it is and how much of a blast of an event it was. And, I can see there being, a lot of people that attend it are going to want to come back just as fans, and a lot of people that play it are going to want to come back to future ones as fans. Given how many bands are on the lineup, it's 30 bands across 2 days. If you have, a quarter of them come back as fans the next year, a quarter of those band members, that's still going to be a good few dozen people.
Yeah.
In it,
Well, the way I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, okay, we'll average it out at 4 people per band. You got 120 people just on that.
Yeah.
And then if they bring 4 friends, there's another 100. If every band brings 4 friends, and then you got support crew with so either way, it's going to be a decent crowd. And if every band can bring 4 or 5 friends, you've automatically doubled that and a bit, which makes the day even better, and we keep on stressing to every single band, get your phones out and film as much as you can, because the more, if you have 30 bands plus us, plus all the road crew putting content out there, you've spread it out across so much. So it's just everyone have fun and just be respectful, and we can make this something that can be international. Hopefully, we want people. How good would it be if an international band caught wind of what was going on and said, we want to headline next year?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's and the thing is, a cool festival like that, bands will pay attention to it. I remember seeing this thing about a heavy metal festival in, I think it was, God, I think it was in Nepal or something like that. Oh, and it was you basically at this, old temple in the middle of the fucking jungle, and they people organizing it because it's Nepal. There's not a big heavy metal scene, but obviously metalheads are fucking everywhere. We're we're a little bit like cockroaches. We're everywhere, right? And
you're never more than 10 meters away from one at any time.
It's and so there's a lot of heavy metal fans, but not really much of a heavy metal scene, right? So they, they put on this festival, and I think it must have pretty much every heavy metal band in Nepal came and played at this fucking festival. And then they also reached out to try and get a headliner. They reached out to Testament. And Testament was like, look, we're not going to make money on this, but we're absolutely going to go and play it because it's just such a unique experience and going to be such a special event. And I can see something similar happening with this, right? Like you have a band that, and maybe they just happen to be planning to come out here to Australia around the same time, and they tack it on as part of their Australian tour. But you do that, and all of a sudden, like this festival goes from, hey, that's pretty cool, to, oh wow, like that's really, that's kind of a big deal, right? And because I don't think you're going to see international bands traveling just to play that.
No.
And if they're making it part of a broader tour, you're not going to attract people to the event, just because they're playing it. But the added bonus of it being such a special event, we're in such a unique location, it's really going to up the value of that.
It certainly has that potential, no question.
And I can see people traveling from overseas to attend it as well if it takes off. I can definitely see that, like people making that kind of pilgrimage to travel from overseas and come and attend this event. That is, it's such a unique presentation and an interesting way to do it, right? Travis from Witchgrinder, who we had on a little while ago, his father is a huge fan of the Mad Max films. So he's like, yep, his dad's probably going to be coming out for the thing with him. So, you can imagine, I can completely see people that are, like obsessed, like Mad Max fans and also enjoy metal music, or being like, this is perfect, and traveling from wherever in the world they are, making that trek to come out for something like that. And
it's a huge selling point, that Mad Max thing. Absolutely.
It is.
It's a good excuse to come to Australia. Like I've never been in that far in.
Yeah.
Like I've been up and down the East Coast, but mate, now it's like, mate, I'll make that my. Please do it once a year because I want my kids to go to it. I want my kids to make friends at it. I want my kids to be able to keep going to it when I eventually can't go to it. Like I want this thing to like transcend into generations. Like
ideally in my head, this becomes like
everyone
Wacken.
Gets it.
It becomes like Australia's Wacken, where it just goes and goes and goes for years and years and years and years, and people just builds more and more. Not to the point of becoming a problem for Silverton or Broken Hill, mind you. I don't want anything of that. But Wacken being this small town in the German countryside, and every year, like tens of thousands of metalheads just descend on this fucking place for an event that is just completely it becomes so special in the mentality of
But if you could guarantee it for October long weekend, for now until forever, I'll tell you what, just Silverton, be ready that time every year. You know what I mean? Like this, if you could. Just as long as we're all good and we don't trash the fucking town.
Yes,
trash the area that we're in.
And that's the key thing.
Big thing.
That's the really big thing. Like, we love the event and we think it's such a cool idea, but we don't want to see people
take your camping shit
taking
home.
Advantage of anything. That's like they say, take only
just
pictures.
Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick and be respectful of where you are. And it's
take only pictures, leave only footprints.
Yeah.
It's the perfect opportunity to really showcase not just the bands, not just the Mad Max compound, but to showcase what heavy metal is, right?
Yep.
To showcase what we are, because you cop, for forever and a day we've copped so much shit from the media that we're all Satanists and all this sort of bullshit, but. And we're always
Catholics like me.
but we always cop that sort of negative media. But we all know that we're really just the kindest bunch of people you could ever possibly meet. And this is just the perfect opportunity to showcase that. It really is.
Yeah. And, I think it'll be my hope, and part of the reason we got behind the event the way we did, is because it's such a cool idea, and Kyle and I are strong believers in the Australian metal scene, being heavily underrated international. Like people, yes, internationally, but people in Australia don't realize. People in Australia don't realize how much talent there is there, because a lot of bands, because of the limited market, a lot of the bands don't get the attention they would get if they were existing in other, in other places, right? Where they had a larger audience more readily available in terms of like live fans and venues and stuff like that. So, you get Australian metalheads that have never listened to an Australian metal band, and that's not a criticism of them. It's just a fact of the environment over here is just kind of a lot smaller, and people just don't realize the wealth of talent that exists. So absolutely, an event like this to showcase it, but also, as you say, it's a great opportunity for us to show the care and the love that the community has for one another, and the respect that we have for events of this nature and venues. Like I said, we need to make sure that take your camping shit, don't leave any rubbish. Like if you're going to this event, bring a roll of garbage bags with you, right? And make sure that you just, when you're packing up at the end of the weekend, just just if you see some rubbish around, whether it's yours or not, if you happen to be there, just pick it up and put it in a bin, put it in the garbage bags. Like, we want to leave the site ideally better than we found it, if we can, if that's possible for us to do.
No, don't fix a Mad Max 2 compound. That's fine the way it is. It's meant to be like that. It's meant to be like that.
You don't thing.
But you get what I mean, right? Like we want to make the people of Silverton and Broken Hill very, very happy. We want to make the owners of the Mad Max compound extremely happy, because it is private property. Let's not forget that. It is this event is taking place on private property, and we need to be respectful of that, and appreciative that they've opened it up for us. Mm-hmm. And they've taken a chance on us for that, and so we need to repay that in kindness. We need to show them how just how cool metalheads are, because we all know it. We all know that we're pretty cool. And yes, okay, there's a dickhead in here and there, but that's the same in any community, any group of fans. Mm-hmm. That's just the human race. There's dickheads everywhere. but we need to and we've said this in previous editions. That when we talk to other bands that are going to be on about this, right? Like, we don't think anyone's going out there to be a dickhead. We don't think anyone's going out there to intentionally ruin anyone else's time or to intentionally trash the place. But people sometimes get a bit excited, get a little bit much in their system, and they don't necessarily realize, they're not necessarily aware of what they're doing or the impact they're having on those around them in that moment. All we got to do is look out for each other and make sure that we're just, like I said, leaving the site as we found it, not trashing anything, not destroying any plants, knocking anything over, damaging anything.
Don't turn into a meme.
We don't
just don't turn into some internet sensation for no shitty reason at the event.
And like I said, if we do right by the owners of the compound and by the people of Silverton and Broken Hill, I have no doubt that next time we'll all be welcomed back with open arms. And as long as that continues, sweet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you guys have been, and you mentioned it before we started filming there, you guys recently had a show at a newer venue in Melbourne.
Ooh.
Called The Graveyard. Is that, so we're not too familiar with the scene down in Melbourne there. So what can you give us about that new venue that you were playing at?
Well, it's not really new. It's new to having gigs. It's been a rehearsal studio for quite a while.
Oh, okay. Yep.
They've only recently got bar license and all that sort of thing.
Oh, cool.
So they've just been able to start having gigs recently, and we were had one there last weekend with Mighty Rautism, who are a Melbourne thrash band. They're awesome. We had Get Wrecked, who are a thrash band from Geelong, also put on an awesome show. And, mental blank.
Don't look at me.
Crazy punk band from Gippsland. What were they?
Crazy punk band from Gippsland.
Absolute mental blank.
I don't know. That could almost be a band name in and of itself, right?
It'll come to. Sorry,
are they a
guys,
three-piece? Are they a three-piece?
Yes.
They didn't have a guy named Rowan in the band, did they? They weren't called Fist?
No.
Okay. Because I know they just finished the tour.
It'll come to me.
I will find.
Okay.
I find for you.
So
that was an awesome show. It's a great little venue. It's really good in that it's really open. It's like people want to go outside and have a drink or have a durry or whatever. You can still see and hear the bands, and it's really Ratbird. That's them.
Ratbird.
It's
so punk.
It's just got a really cool old rock and roll vibe to it. It's just it's really good community feel. They've got a couple of permanent food vans there, that sort of thing. Great little setup they've got there.
It's
awesome.
really good for when you get off stage and your friends bring you plenty of wine, so you drink it and you end up with a kebab in your hand because there's a kebab joint right there.
That's the best.
There's a crepe shop right there, and then you've got the bar. And Dave and Chris, or Dave, the owner of the place, he just wants to make it a real community feel, so you can bring the kids around and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's a great little. It's small, but it's not confining, and so it really does make sort of those smaller groups seem large, but not feel like you're all hemmed into a little.
Yeah. It's amazing what happens when you throw little kids into a dynamic like a concert, like a live concert, because they absolutely lose their shit, and it's the most purest form.
It's great for us because our song Valkyrie's Rise, we've got 3 kids, 2 daughters. They got up on stage with us to do backing vocals for that song. But during the whole show,
that's so cool.
During the whole show, our youngest son and Woody, our bassist, his daughter, they were cross-legged, sitting right at the front of the stage, and just having that, having that, everyone was super respectful. They're all jumping around like idiots, but made sure they didn't get near the kids and that sort of thing. But it just brings that whole different experience to it, for us and the kids.
I mean, there was that's giving me, flashbacks to a venue in Western Sydney that used to put on bands. There was a pub in St. Mary's called the Lucky Australian, and they had this big outdoor section at the back that kind of went, narrowed as it got further back in the thing, and there was a stage at the back end of it, and they would have bands of all different types on there, but they had fairly frequently on Sunday afternoons, a lot of the time
session,
there'd be metal gigs on, and because it was the outdoor kind of eatery area of a pub, you could have kids there, and you'd go down there and they'd have this nice, plenty of space for people to sit at the back. Or even sitting inside, there was big glass doors, so you could still kind of see all the bands out there, and it was it was a great environment for that. And the fact that you were sat outside meant you could, there wasn't any issues around now that when they changed laws around smoking areas and stuff, it's probably would have changed it. But at the time, it was just an outdoor area at the pub, so you could smoke there. There wasn't any issues, and it was, you could just chill out on a nice, relaxing Sunday afternoon with some metal bands, and if your kids wanted to come and if it was family stuff, they could come along, and it was a good vibe, and no one was there to be a dickhead, no one was there to cause any problems. It was just fun. It was just good times.
It was a great time. That's what we try and do at Ram It Down over in Southwest Sydney. It's an all ages thing. It starts at 5 o'clock. We booked it privately. The kids can stay till as late as they want because they're upstairs and the bar area is so tiny and they're not allowed near it. So it's all sorted. And we had that originally it started off at a microbrewery in Southwest Sydney, and that had the same thing. It was big open doors, stage set up in the microbrewery, had bar to the right, food truck to the left that was sitting outside, and just that's how the community started, and it built from there. And when it had to move, unfortunately, from that microbrewery, it's picked up so much, and we're at the 12-month mark now, and it's been consistent for the last 12 months. We're averaging 50 to 60 people every month now. It's great. And as soon as you get like we've noticed it, as soon as a handful of kids are there, the bands, you just can't wipe the smile off the band's faces, because that's a fan. Like, you're actually getting through to that person. It's not, and they're not drinking.
Yeah.
They're not drinking,
You're not going to come and grab the mic.
and even if they do, it's going to be the cutest thing in the world, and you're not going to get upset.
Well, they talk about, core memories, right? Like core memories as a thing for defining moments in a kid's life and development, where they it's just like it just opens their mind to something completely new, or it becomes a defining element of who they are and who they grow into. And I have to think that, for kids that, and you look, not every kid's going to get a metal band when they get dragged along by their parents or whatever, right? But if your kid has an interest in metal music, being able to go to a gig at such a young age it's very rare. Like, it's not something that they all get to experience, right? And so it's finally getting to go and share that experience with their parents or their older siblings, or their uncle or auntie or whoever it is that they share this interest with, is it's so special for them, and that's something that they're going to hold dear for so many years to come. And it reinforces that these things, while they on the surface, obviously we know metal is a lot deeper than what it is on the surface, as are most things, but we all realize that while on the surface it looks like angry, aggressive music that's not a safe place for children, it reinforces to the kids that, oh, I'm safe here. Like, I'm safe in this community and around these people. Mm-hmm. And that's just a wonderful thing to see. And
especially now, it's a generational thing. We got a little kid, we got this father son that come and help out at Ram It Down. It's Brad and his son Asher, and Asher is he's just absorbing, and he's just enjoying being around all these creative people, and he's in a band, and he's like, oh, he's looking at starting to do originals, and we keep on hassling him because we get under 18s to play there. We're like, come on, man, get your stuff done. Just get a handful of covers and run one original. Come on, we'll give you the first show. Because he hit us up last night. He's like, how do I get on Two Dudes Talk Music? I'm like, mate.
That's how.
That's how. I go, man, look, let's do it properly for you. I go, get one original done. Get it recorded. I'll film the thing for you for free. I'll make you a little live video of it that you can put on YouTube and stuff like that, and then we'll have you on for sure, and we'll showcase the whole thing. I'll love the enthusiasm.
Yeah, awesome.
But it's stuff like that. Like Raff said, that is his core memory, and he's just turning every time you see him. He's got the best mullet I've ever seen in my life, and he's just going to be this amazing musician and metalhead as he keeps on growing. And kudos to his dad for letting him be around these people and knowing that community's safe, because his dad's a bassist in an awesome thrash band called Automation as well.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, our kids were listening to metal music.
Yeah, they were bottle-fed metal music. Yeah.
Totally bottle-fed. And I tried, but it didn't kind of work. But they really enjoy it as well. They think it's quite cool that their parents are metalheads. I think our middle daughter managed to get one of our songs played for, how they do it before bells and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
At high school. So, yeah, it's kind of cool and watch it. And we've got everything here for the kid, like all the equipment. So they can just come and pick up whatever they like whenever they sort of feel like. And it's nice to watch them sort of evolve into their interests as well.
Do you do that thing where you don't want to disturb them, because as soon as you disturb them, they're going to stop, and you actually watch them get a guitar, and it's like a documentary. You're like, don't make any noise. Don't make any noise. They're going to stop if we make any noise. Don't let them see that we see them.
And it's also like it's practicing what you preach, right? Because I have to taught my kids, my girls, about drama and theatrics, like we mentioned earlier. And I would tell them, you have to do it this way, and you need to make sure you just put out that extra bit of theatre. You're not going to look like an idiot. You're going to look more like an idiot if you don't do it, that kind of stuff. And I have to go off and practice what I preach now. And I think that's the challenge that comes back to you with it as well.
Your kids will keep you accountable.
Yeah, that's it. The whole, yeah.
Yeah, you tell them, you try and instill a lesson in them, and if you don't do the same thing, they'll, or they should be able to. I think in a healthy relationship, they should be able to call you out on it.
Yeah. Our 19-year-old totally called me out on it. She goes, "See, anxiety being the same feeling as excitement doesn't work, doesn't, Mum?" And I was like, "No."
You got told.
Oh. Damn you, internet!
So are the
constant form of knowledge.
So are any of the kids coming along with you guys to Metal to the Max?
We're bringing them all. The plan is that our eldest has actually signed up for the Air Force, so and we're waiting for a date where she goes. So we're hoping that doesn't happen till after October. But barring that, the three of them will be coming up. The two girls will again get up to do backing vocals for Valkyries.
We'll have to get that filmed.
We're planning a special song that we're not allowed to talk about.
Cool.
We might be getting our son and Woody, his daughter, up as well for that one. So try and make it a family affair again.
Children per se. Yes.
Okay.
I'm dropping.
Cool. Well, hey, that sounds awesome. Like
we're going to get some power metal wiggle stuff going on for all the kids then.
Yeah, that's an idea. We hadn't thought of that.
No.
The big red car.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there'll be fruit salad. I mean, it's post-apocalyptic, so maybe toot toot chugga chugga burnt out car instead of big red car or something like can make it work.
No potato then instead of potato.
No potato, no potato. Oh man, that's what. Now all I can think of is like how many post-apocalyptic Wiggles parodies can we write between now and the thing? Oh my goodness! So,
fruit salad not in your tummy.
I was going to say no gasoline.
Yeah, no more fruit salad.
No more fruit salad.
No more fruit salad. Hey, but it would be, the radiation. You might meet an actual Dorothy the dinosaur. Or
hey, Dorothy might be real for real life.
Oh, it's going to turn into that Guar set all over again. It's Soundwave.
Yeah, just
or Guar. Sorry.
So you guys have got, as we mentioned, you guys have got a few songs out on the platforms that people can find to listen to and get an idea. There is a Spotify playlist of a ton of the bands that are playing at Metal to the Max. We're going to have links to everything down in the description. So if you want to get a taste of what the bands are doing, you'll be able to check that out and see, what everyone's bringing to the table. Spoiler alert, it's fucking amazing.
You're going to have a full plate. It's going to be a full table.
Absolutely. It'll be buffet and something for everybody at this one.
So it's an all metal cookout.
But you guys are kind of writing at the moment in preparation for hopefully recording later in the year, yeah?
Yeah, the plan is we were hoping to start recording before the Metal to the Max, but family and work and all that sort of stuff.
My day job mainly.
And other commitments and whatever, that's going to delay that. So the plan at the moment is we'll hit the studio after Metal for the Max and hopefully get a full-length album out early in the new year is the goal. We'll be re-recording the 3 songs that we have got out simply because we've changed drummers since then. Unfortunately, the tyranny of distance meant that we had to replace our drummer, and so we want to have all the songs there with the new drummer, which is Adam, and he's awesome. And we'll hopefully have a 9-track album come out early in the new year, all going to plan.
Nice.
Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah,
Nice.
people are going to definitely want to keep an eye out for that because
I can't see what you're bringing to the table as far as theatrics and stuff go. You've really piqued my interest. They're going to be one I'm going to be definitely looking out for. So if you see us in the crowd, if you see me in the crowd waving my camera around, make sure you give us a little point and a wave.
All right.
Well, that's
now
the goal.
I feel like I have to come up with something, but yeah,
You just need to
I just need to be me.
Good. I can't wait for everyone to absorb that energy and just feed off it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're gonna be running around the whole weekend. We're gonna be, filming a ton of stuff at our little sort of marquee we're gonna have there. We're gonna be interviewing bands, punters, everything. We're gonna be trying to capture footage of just everyone having a great time, as well as footage of all the bands that are playing, and the goal is like afterwards we're gonna have this big sort of wrap up and tons of interviews coming out with all the bands from the event as well. Maybe some of the bands that we missed or didn't get to interview in the lead up. Especially those are going to be ones we're going to try and focus on.
Yeah, we're going to really try and get those.
We got, you're not going to be able to miss us. You're not going to be able to miss our thing. We've got these fucking giant banners that are going to be up in and around the tent, so you'll see where we are.
We're going over the top. If we're doing this properly and some.
Yeah.
Attempting to anyway.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope. I mean, we got, we're taking stock of all of the stuff that we're able to bring. Like, if you can see, I've got I can't really see it with the lighting, but that there is like a big plastic tub that's full of cables and cameras and microphones and everything that we're going to be bringing.
I just bought a drone.
Kyle just got a drone so we can get drone shots of stuff as well.
So you're just using it as an excuse now, I see.
Hey,
don't tell our
still
partners.
A wife.
Don't tell our
Maybe
partners.
a better wife, but I'm still a wife.
Luckily, she doesn't really watch the podcast. So
this will be the one episode she watches. You watch it.
Damn shame. What's that chick that you were interviewing?
What was that episode?
But actually, that's something that I would love to see if there, if this happens again next year. I would love to see a bit more, a few more bands featuring women in the lineups. We're not
I think
obviously
it's only us and Antonomasia, isn't it?
Antonomasia, yep. And look, we're not sort of proponents of filling quotas or putting people on just for anything like that. But I think there is such a surge over the last few years of just women feeling more comfortable in the space and being able to perform in bands without having nearly as much judgment thrown their way. I can think of probably a half a dozen bands from Queensland that would be great fits that feature, either complete women lineups or, have women doing amazing work within them. So best believe me, next year I'm going to be pushing for more Queensland bands to be involved with this, because it's a hell of a trip for us, but it's worthwhile.
I have a funny feeling after everything that sort of comes out from this, I have a feeling the door's going to be kicked in so hard they're going to be having to unfortunately decline bands. It's just going to be that cutthroat for everyone to get out there after this year. People are going to be working for this.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to have the female-fronted bands as well, because it brings a different audience to it as well. And you don't necessarily have to be a metalhead. I'm not sure if you've noticed. And that's the thing. My day job is in the corporate world, and everybody thinks that it's totally cool now that I do my corporate job, and on the weekends I turn into Madame War, as the girls call it. It just opens the door to an audience that didn't realise that the metal scene was there, and that's what I'm finding the most. That people are like, whoa, I didn't even know this music existed in Australia, let alone
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, I think about bands that I'm talking about as something like. A band like Sin Soto would be an amazing addition to a lineup of an event like this.
Don't tease me, Rat.
They're they do this kind of eclectic style that's, it's rock and metal adjacent, but there's, lots of synth elements in there as well. And it's very like, it's like,
it's something that needs to be heard and seen.
It really is. It's one of those things that describing it is quite difficult, but they would do an incredible job on this lineup. Like, they're off at the moment. They'll probably be back by the time we release this episode, but at the moment, Sin Soto's off fucking touring their ass off around Europe with like 30 fucking dates at the moment. Like
Piston Fist
and Chaosis. They're like absolutely destroying. Chaosis should come over from New Zealand to do this event next year. Like, that would be an insane thing.
Oh my God.
Like,
headline night one.
Their whole visual shtick works for an event like this anyway. Then you go to other bands from, I can see bands like Viper Snatch and Acid Cherry and Frozen Eddie and Foul Face, Liposuction. There's so many bands from up here that I'm thinking of, and that all have, amazing representations of what women can bring to the table in heavy and alternative music that would do great on an event like this, And I'd love to see next year a few more bands featuring women on the lineup again, not just because they're women, not just to fill a quota, not because of any kind of affirmative action stuff, but because it's fucking good. Yeah, because it's good and they deserve a spot. They deserve the platform just as much as any of the other bands that are on the lineup. So yeah, I think it's.
And not just that, what I want to see next year. One thing I would love to see next year. If you got a bit of time and you got a band in your area that you're already friends with, that that are going, let's get some fucking collabs going for fucking this special event. You know what I mean? Let's start thinking outside the box a little bit. And if that you're going there with some friends and you guys can start sort of writing a little bit of songs together, or even if I love that song that you guys do, can I jump on and do vocals with you?
Yeah, getting features, getting people up on stage for each other's songs.
Let's get that shit going on.
Make it a party.
I like the cover of you doing this. Can I come out and do the vocal? Yeah, just more of that shit, because when your friends succeed and you create new fans, you create a new dynamic. You're like, I haven't seen that band before. You're mates with them and you're going to do a song with them. I'm going to check them out.
Yeah.
It just increases that reach, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Great. Absolutely.
A lot of fun as well.
Yeah. Yes, I like the fun.
Yeah.
Something else I think I'd like to see next year is, and granted, look, I'm not familiar with every single band on this lineup, so this may be the case already. But I would love to see next year at least one band from every state and territory, if that could be organized, if that could be, and maybe that was the intention. Maybe he reached out and it couldn't quite happen there. But I would love to see that as a thing of like it being at least in some degree having every state and territory represented, having bands from the whole, from literally every corner of the country coming together for an event like this. Because it's great. It's the event. It's amazing that it's happening, and I'm not trying to look a gift horse in the mouth here. It's an incredible lineup, and there's all these bands from Adelaide and New South Wales and Victoria that are all coming together for it. But I'd love to see a bit of representation as well for Queensland. And Tassie's a bit of a different prospect because obviously you got the water that you can't just drive it or do whatever. You kind of have to do the thing.
In Western Australia, you've got the desert.
But still, I think it would be an awesome thing to do to try and ensure that and have someone featured from every state and territory of the country to really make it an Australian festival that is representative of the
metal in Australia.
As a whole. I have a funny
feeling you might be right. It probably was asked. And look, man, you got to think that you got to have a lot of belief in two things: the band and the product that you're going to play, and the product that is metal to the max. If you don't have both of those, it's a hell of a trek to go out there for it might be good. Yeah. So I completely understand that for the most part, you know what I mean? But it's a lot of faith from not just the people that are taking the big swing to have it at the venue. It's a big swing for all the bands to go out there and hope that it succeeds as much as it is. I have a funny feeling next year that will happen organically. I reckon everything that we've been talking about will happen organically.
The distance was part of the conversation for us as well. I mean, initially you just go, yes, wow, cool, on it. And then you go,
no,
fuck.
How are we going to do that?
It's a long way. It's a commitment, and we don't know what's going to, that whole unknown thing is a big question. But, it's going to go off. And,
it is. It is.
Question. Something I actually
next year people will be knocking the fence down to get into it.
Yeah, something that I only actually just thought about, and I can't believe we haven't asked any of the other bands about this. Was there any requirement put on you guys to sell? You have to sell X amount of tickets or anything like that. No? Okay, cool.
Mate, that is
I love that. I love that.
Look, at the end of the day, the product is so good, it should be able to sell itself.
Yeah, exactly.
The concept,
compound,
Yeah.
the concept and the idea, like I was sold. As soon as I heard it, I went, how do I convince my wife to let me go to this?
You take her as well.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to be. My issue is I'm going to be working, so I can't help her out with the kids. That's my big problem. I can't. If I could just go,
your best friend.
Yeah. I should.
Absolutely.
I should. I'd love to go.
Honestly,
I'd love for him to go.
with what we want to, if this year goes well, with what we want to try and do next year,
that will be coming.
we're going to need crews, so we're just going to have to recruit people anyway. Like it's going to.
Why do you think we're taking ours?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I just got to teach my kids how to roll a cable properly first, and then they can come.
Learned at the age of what, 5?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So, all right, look, before we wrapped up this the podcast here, now look, fair dues, you guys are, obviously more into the like the 80s kind of vibe of everything. So I don't know if you guys are going to have an opinion on this one, actually.
And it's fine if you don't.
Kel almost certainly won't. Harry, I'll be curious to see if you've got any thoughts on this one here. So a question that, okay, so obviously as a fan of 80s metal and thrash, you'd obviously be familiar with the concept of the big four of thrash, being, Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax.
I know them.
A question that Kyle and I have been trying to answer here on the podcast. We've decided we want to try and get that answered. Basically, we're trying to take a poll of people over the course between now and the end of the year, and then in the end of year stream, we're going to reveal the results of our investigations in this. Kyle and I are a little bit younger than yourself. When we came up, it was nu metal was the thing, right? So we're trying to get opinions on the big four of nu metal. From that nu metal era of bands. Now, I know a lot of thrash guys are like, fuck nu metal, which is fair. So if you would prefer to offer no opinion on this, that's perfectly fine. We're happy for you to abstain, but we wanted to put the question to you if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah.
No, I can't really answer the question because I don't know nu metal.
It's not a genre. Okay.
It's just not my thing.
No, look, that's very, very fair, and we appreciate the honesty there.
It was a niche when it came out.
Mind you, anything new is not my thing. I'm still stuck in the 80s, right? I'm just a dinosaur.
But
I don't know any of this new stuff.
I get the sense that you are, just because it's not your thing, like that, you're respectful of it still. Like you're like it's its own thing. A lot of people that get that stuck in the 80s mentality are just like, anything that was released after 1990 fucking sucks, and I don't have to, and it's not real metal, and it's blah 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 blah.
I think you get that what is it? What's the word? I guess elitist mindset that a lot of people seem to have. We're all different. We all like different things. Who the hell am I to tell you what music is good or not?
Exactly.
To tell me,
we appreciate that.
We like we like. I remember back in the day, you'd have shows where there'd be all different sorts of music. You'd have, that was what we were trying to do at the graveyard. Punk, metal, and thrash. Different. It's just all heavy music. Let's just go and enjoy the music. Who gives a shit if it's the right genre, right?
Yeah,
it's heavy music. Let's go and enjoy it.
I universally call it mostly Cookie Monster music, right? But
Slightly
Sorry.
offended.
No offense, but it does, right? But we did a gig at the Gasso a few weeks ago, and there was this really cool band there. And I actually went, oh, hang on a minute. This is all right, because I'm used to hearing the Cookie Monster music through the stereo, right? But being in a live venue, I've got to say, I was like, oh.
That was Suspended Animation.
Yes.
Yeah, from Mildura, awesome band.
Yeah, great band.
Cool.
And Go Gorilla as well. I was like, you know what? My ears don't actually hurt. Like, that's cool. I may not understand the words, and that's okay. But it's really, like, it's actually
it's a vibe.
really cool.
We need to.
Have you checked out any Rammstein?
Yeah.
We need to get Kel a whole list of metal bands.
Look, you're just going to indoctrinate. Well, they've tried to indoctrinate me. I do know, you know.
Yeah,
you know what you need to do? You need to show Kel the most theatric stuff. Kick her off at a Rammstein live set. Just show Kel one of those, and it'll hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
hook, line, and sinker.
That's it. We need to find all these metal bands with some nice, clean vocals that do a big, you know,
theatrical
just big theatrical performance that really go there, stuff like that.
Oh, the girls are obsessed with Ghost.
I can't stand Ghost. But people like Ghost.
I said, Dad, can you take us to see Ghost? No, you can go yourself.
The thing for me when it comes to Ghost, right, is I saw people talking about him. I saw photos everywhere for like probably a couple of years before I actually went and listened to anything from them, right? So I was obviously what they look like. I was expecting like Behemoth or something like that to come out of the speakers, but when it was Goth ABBA, I was just like,
Goth ABBA.
I just didn't. There was like, I think there was I just think there was some cognitive dissonance between what they looked like and what they sound like.
The synapses weren't working.
I just couldn't bridge that gap.
Properly.
I just couldn't bridge that gap. And look, they've got a couple of cool songs that I vibe to.
Oh,
but I just as a band and I've seen their live performance. I appreciate
everything that they do.
I've seen a live performance of theirs at Download in 2019 when Download was in Sydney, and great live show. Like all about the theatrics, the live set, the way they use smoke and light to obscure movement around the stage so that he kind of disappears out of one side of the stage and comes back on from the other, or from like out from the back of it. And yeah, the way
a ghost.
Like it was such a great use of the stage space, and they're wonderful performers, but the visual disconnect did too much damage about him in my brain, and I just can't get completely on board. It's just great band, and I'm sure they're incredibly nice guys. I'm sure there'd be a great interview and just everything. But I just
said I don't like them, and next year Ghost headlining.
Yay!
Hey, just think of the interview that we could get, Kyle. Just think about that one for the chamber.
I'd have to sit there in silence.
And you'd have to edit this one.
Yeah, we'll take this one down if that happens, so they can't see. All right. Well, look, thank you so much to Harry and Kel from MaxxaM for joining us today to talk all about Metal to the Max and everything that they've got coming up. We're going to have links to all the socials down in the description so people can find you guys wherever you are. And yeah, people should absolutely go and check out the songs 100%. That are out there at the moment as well. Just all the links, all the links. But yeah, thank you very, very much. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Kel and Harry for joining us. I've been the Reverend Raff. He's been BeerBuddy. You guys have been amazing, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.
Metal to the Max.
Oh.
Hey, there you go.